Yep.
Okay. This is a recent poem. It was rather synchronistic in many ways as well, because I was speaking with the Jungian writer Rinos Papadopoulos, and we were talking about recovery and illness and all manner of things with the zeitgeist of these days. And I told him that I had a dream of dragonflies the night before, a very numinous dream. And dragonflies are archetypes of recovery and renewal, and also change and growth. So it was. I told him perhaps it was also anticipating our discussion that we talked a great deal about both of those, all those topics. So I wrote a poem afterwards, to continue to think about it. And this poem emerged. After a long illness, I dream of dragonflies. I dream of dragonflies that strike a canvas lake of lavender, and angle air like Pleiades, obliquely seen when searched askance, in sidelong hints of iris blurs that camber where the dogwoods turn sidereal with ghostly proms, and deem their aerial sublimes, their contrapuntal play of course as harbingers of Renaissance. When Naiad bound beneath their mail, they shed from drapes of silences, encased in deeps of dark confines, adrift in febrile underworlds, to waken where the body breaks and waters of the old life fill each levin wing with scales of glist that fledge with light and gilded dust, and rise into their swerves of flight like eldritch flames of seraphim who guard the trees of paradise. When I awake, I'll follow them along the stop bank river bends, the lash-spilled streams that spate from fields with backflow into strath and silt, and watch their scribbled colors brush with cursive zigs that feather stitch the crescent bays of mirror ponds, and squint to trace their opal scorch across green surfaces of gloss that reeve mosquitoes in their draught and drink diagonals from glades, and learn to live again, return to simple acts forgotten, found, a word of kindness without calls or cares that earn no more than done, and lose the nettle serpent's tooth, the dispensations for remorse, the ranks of prominence revered, the stable spheres of sun-trapped truths that rapture loose from happenstance. A death survived is still a death, adorced with recent birth and time. How long our days, what might have been, our earthly thoughts, for afternoons abowed repine, until we dare at sorrow's brink absolve regret and reconcile with fortune's thief, the stolen hours unrestored, the murmurations of defeat, and consummate a gradients of change and form, like dragonflies that interlace the last of stars, with necklace rain the cobwebs pearl, and morning sun once more reclaims. And one more. I read this recently at poetry reading in London. This is a poem that I wrote about my father's last hours. It's actually a true story. The epigraph is from a Zen koan. He fled, the tiger after him, He caught hold of the root of a wild vine and swung himself over the edge. Tigers above, tigers below. A luscious strawberry grew from the rocks beneath the precipice. Grasping the vine with one hand, he plucked the strawberry with the other. How sweet that strawberry tasted. Zen Buddhist koan. Name of the poem is Key Lime Pie. Nothing more to do. The doctor's drone and ebb. The nurse's pencil scratch sounds like a hull that scrapes the sand when pushed from shore. Slatted sunlight blades its golden oars that fall between the window blinds and stows across your cot, your hospice bed a ship now drifting with the tide. The evening meal arrives, you start to wave away, but then you spy the clot of lime, the hue of tile, a cumulus of wild meringue with Elvis curls, the key lime a la mode, mistakenly amongst your diabetic meal. Bring that to me dessert, you say. That is to say, if not now, when? And why not, considering? The first bite like the first kiss beneath the elms. The second bite the day each child was born and breathed. The third, the mortgage paid and money in the bank. The fourth, a hole in one and buying second rounds. The fifth, for having made another milestone year, to face with grace enough a simple short farewell by lifting every fork of ordinary pie and finishing in time.
Thank you very much, Claude. This is absolutely beautiful, very dense, very deep, very touching, as ever. So thank you so much once again for sharing your beautiful poetry with us.
Thank you.
And next up, we will hear the poems of Carole. We still can't hear you, Carole.
Yeah, here we go. Thank you, Rula.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will introduce Carole. I'll introduce you first. Many of you know Carole, of course, from Indelible and from other Psychreative sessions. Carole Standish Mora earned an MFA in creative writing and more recently a PhD in depth psychology with an emphasis in Jungian and archetypal studies. She has published poems and short stories in literary journals, has received a Pushcart Prize nomination, and 5 of her poems won the 2014 West Coast Eisted Fought. Is that right?
Yeah.
Poetry competition, a literary and arts festival founded in 1176 by one of her ancient Welsh ancestors. Wow. Along with poetry and fiction, she enjoys research and scholarly writing and has an article forthcoming in Quadrant, Journal of the C.G. Jung Foundation for Analytical Psychology, entitled A Matter of Imagination, The Red Book and Literary Modernism. In recent years, Carole has been an adjunct writing instructor at the university level and a private writing tutor. She currently lives in Santa Monica, California, where she enjoys taking long walks as often as possible in natural areas and visual art practices as well.
Thank
Carole,
you.
we are delighted and honored to have you with us, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Rula. I selected 4 poems, but I'll read the first 2, and then depending on the time, I can, chime in later if there's time. So here we go. I'll share my screen. Here we go. Okay. Can everybody see the poem? Okay. Yesterday, just outside my bedroom window, my mother dug in the dry earth, trying to make a place to plant an olive tree sapling. Some days I watched her from inside my room and examined the lead that held the diamond-shaped pieces of glass in place, where a 3-paned window lined my blue window seat. Red quarry tile lined the floors of the long hallway in the new house on Golden View Drive, the house where we all were waiting for the new landscaping to grow out in front. It was really hot that summer, but the tile floor was cold to bare feet most mornings, and my new room all blue, green, bright, and cool. I spent hours memorizing the curves in the headboard of my 4-poster canopied bed, smooth shapes carved into the tall posts and the delicate turning of the piece at the foot, surrounded with maple wood and white pinafore. Sometimes I lay on the new blue carpet in my room and listened to yesterday play over and over on my first 45. I wandered the orange groves playing Indian, drew horses, and kept pet mice that ate their babies if you didn't separate them at birth. Surveyor 1 landed on the moon. I worked at that place out back off and on with my mother all summer, but we just kept hitting bedrock. And my father was never home somehow, lost in the wrong work when he could have been with us digging. Okay. I guess I'll do this one next. Okay. Nothing is perfect. Innocence can't save us, and yet it does compensate for things lost. The well-swept walk echoes with sounds of idle thoughts of sweeping. Hunched over to hold the hard stick of the broom, a quiet settles. Inside, focus shifts to sweeping action. The mind slows. Go on, it says, sweep the walk. Watch leaves scatter. Listen to bristle, meeting ground. The swift opening to nothing. A clean path, innocence returned. For the moment, lost things settle into lost places, and no thing is entirely innocent, just young, newly accustomed to the imperfect idle thought, moving slowly back and forth, obscuring something found. Do we have time for this one, or? Okay.
Yeah.
Unspeakable girl after Agamben. We've always dug to plant and to bury, giving to the earth's dark core, cold haven of wild desires, something we hope to find there or remember. Cool interludes dwell within the gaps, intrude even, where heat collects with our burning thoughts, the fire that fuels this rare pyre, where to dig is to become lost, spiraling downward where a downdraft sucks hard, until within the darkness appears a door. Some gray mornings when digging stirs up this dust, nests around the hollow place, produced like a cave where we paint the cold hard walls with bare hands and fingers, trace animal heat with red ochre, with cooling blood, crawl into sharp corners, crack open the stone encampment, crush ripe fruit, taste, while drinking down the thick sap, seeping from the door, the floor all sticky, sticking, stuck, then struck by lightning, this storm, this digging place, white hot, a black hole where no one escapes, becoming nothing, nothing at all but this place of planting, the very thing that will become remains of the day, buried remains of the dig, or a fig for some bird to pluck at, then bite into, its beak all wet with sweet juice, as we too chew on what is left, this bitterness, a strange pomegranate, housing brittle facts of passing time, still beyond time, where we dig, to plant and to bury this thing called desire, like a seed to be devoured within the silence of this dark earth, then filled with a teaching, a terrible kind of reluctance to reaching down, finally requiring abduction, while strange sounds fill the sky, laughter and weeping.
That was fabulous. Thank you so much, Carole. Such a fantastic reading.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay.
I love the images. They're so powerful. And there's so much feeling put in there. Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you for the opportunity to share.
Thank you so much. And now, Byron, it's your turn. So Byron has been with us for a while. He has attended Psychreative sessions, but this is the first time Byron will be sharing his beautiful poetry with us. And those of you who follow Byron on social media, you know what a great poet he is. So Byron lives in Cyprus. and is of both English and Greek Cypriot heritage. He studied psychology at undergraduate and postgraduate level in England in the 1990s and has been a practicing counseling psychologist and psychotherapist for nearly 3 decades now. He has worked in the areas of gerontology, family violence, addictions, and in general private practice with a diversity of clients. Currently, he's head of the policy department at the Cyprus National Addictions Authority and continues to work with clients in private practice, both in person and online. Byron has been drawn to Jungian ideas since the earliest days of his career. As a teenager, the first book he read about Jung was Man and His Symbols. In 2009, he completed a PhD in psychoanalytic studies at the University of Essex, which focused on the relationship between analytical psychology, Orthodox Christianity, and the archetype of the wounded healer. His thesis was published as a book by the Orthodox Research Institute in 2010. In introspective moments, Byron writes poetry and occasional prose pieces, often posting them as musings on social media. His cat, Zeus, and his disabled dog, Lucy, never like his posts, but Byron forgives them and still feeds them. So we want to welcome Byron for his very first poetry reading with us at Psychreative.
Thank you very
Byron,
much,
go
Rula.
ahead.
I'm very excited. So I chose a recent poem and an older poem, and they're quite different. The recent one, I just have to apologize to everyone because I don't have the actual files to share. So you'll have to bear with my voice. Am I clearly audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes. Okay, that's good. So this one is called Jasmine Tree, and it's very recent. While driving today, I saw a jasmine tree in a front yard. My eyes watered. Little boys, like the 1960s and 70s, never to return to parental homes, play near jasmine trees. I wonder now if I can be quiet as the jasmine, and my thoughts ever smell so good. The older poem is actually exactly 10 years older, and it's a longer poem, so it's called 7 Seconds, or Un balcon sur la mer, which is the title of a French film that I saw at the time. And I really don't remember very much about the film other than it's a thriller. Yeah, there was a scene in the film where a woman drives with a man, and she decides to stop for a swim. And to his surprise and delight, she unclothes herself to take a swim. This film, I think this scene is probably what inspired it. You pick up a paperweight and your eyes sparkle. They sparkle like the night outside, blowing in through the feathery curtains. The study is old and ponderous, mahogany furniture and dusty tomes, but here is where I work out the essential. You look at me vulnerably, I smile. I am a boy. Together we're about to discover the ocean. The night sparkles, stars the color of seashells and nebulae like coral in the cosmic ocean. It is a night in Provence, a night of medieval quiet, a night shaped like vowels of French, passing through a young woman's crimson lips. The night is our mother. There is no music, yet the study is carried through your universe by melody, harmony, and rhythm as I touch your shoulder, and realize how inappropriate it would be to make love on a night like this. This is so much better than making love, as my soul comes to rest in yours. and yours in mind like ships to port. It doesn't even matter that you're a woman, I a man. There is a faint smell of eucalyptus. I'm sure those trees by the sea, lined up one by one, house a few sparrows. I'm sure the sparrows love us, as we are all children of the word, singing the world into being with an alphabet of sacred letters connected to our tongue. Everything has its own reason, and my hand in yours. I feel sand still hot brush against our skin, salting your face. We embrace. I know my heart has been broken 1,000,000 times. I wonder in passing at its sheer strength. You too, though you've never known the cruelty lived by boys, know the injustice done to woman. The girl in me and the boy in you know it doesn't matter. By living according to the essence of the paperweight in your hand, we bridge the polarities, one amongst the one, calling, you are a video clip of a 1960s pop star, I a forgotten hit on pirate radio. Your face is salty. I do not know if you can taste my tears. I am an old church door. My mind is clear through rest, and my body is out of the body, and with you I curl up by the window, looking for planets. It is a night in Provence of medieval quiet. The Rus invaded Byzantium. Some icons are transportingly beautiful words taking flesh. You gaze into my eyes. I know we are persons, combinations and permutations of mystic characters. The blonde Rus invaded Byzantium. I think there are castles in Marseille. In Germany, there is the Baroque. My study is where I work out the essential, and essence precedes existence. Plato is walking somewhere on the beach. Next to us, there is a copy of the Hypnerotomachia Polyphyli open at a certain page. I saw you glancing through it earlier, Polia, wistfully wondering whether you like Prokofiev. It is true that we never forget. The eucalyptuses are lined up against the side of the road. There is a wrought ironwork trellis hanging by one hinge from the old school gate. You have a shiny filigree belt buckle as you walk up the path, clutching a paperback copy of the Brothers Karamazov. It appears to me that you are walking in 3/4 time. Plato is walking in 3/4 time somewhere on the beach. I first read Empirikos at Octana. I don't want to come from where I come from, which is okay because I don't. Empirikos wrote about a ship on which everyone makes love. Plato imagined that women and men could make love plurally. I am happy to rest my manly hand in yours. I didn't ask for the hair on my knuckles, but I accept it. Buried under the earth like an iron John, I accept it. Fathering and fathered, I am in the word, lined up under the eucalyptuses. Ontogeny recapitulates ontology. There is a candle burning through the dark glass of the church of St. Michael Tripiotis. I am no longer in my 20s. You and I love France, where we've never been. We are alone, profoundly together. It is a night in Provence. Your dress is light, colorful and flowing. My arm is around your waist. It does not matter that you are a woman, I a man. You pick up a paperweight and your eyes sparkle. I don't know if we have time for another one.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Byron. Well, if it says small poem, then yeah, I guess we can.
Okay. So I think this one is actually a bit in response to Carole's poem, the one about Agamben, which I felt was very physical, Carole. I really enjoyed that poem, the images. And I felt this one was calling out to this poem. So I'll read it. It's very, very, very short. It's called Desire. Born of the hot, dark, blood-red earth, you yearned to rest your lips on the strangely sexless maiden. Was it love or fear which drew you forth? If war is the father of all things, then long for nothing.
This is a beautiful dialogue between poems. I love how your poem came after Carole's. So thank you, Byron. Thank you for the beautiful imagery and for sharing the very elegant poetic language that you have. And those of you again who have Byron on Facebook could always there's almost a poem every day, right, Byron?
Well, I'd say on the good days, yes.
Okay, well, so you can enjoy Byron's poems on Facebook as well. So thank you for being here, and we look forward to hearing you read more of your poems in the future.
Thank you for having me.
And next, Hedy. Hello, Hedy. It's been a while.
Hello. Happy to
Hello.
be here.
Happy to see you too. Let me just remove the pin from Byron and add it to your screen. Okay, Hedy. So I guess everybody who's been here before knows Hedy and Hedy's lovely poetry. Hedy is a very special, well-known poet, artist, and essayist. She has authored 3 poetry collections, most recently, The Taste of the Earth, winner of the Silver Nautilus Book Award, honorable mention for the Eric Hoffer Book Award, and finalist for the Best Book Award. T.N. Heliopolis won the Best Book Award, and Under Brushstrokes was finalist for the Best Book Award and the International Book Award. Her story collection, Flying Carpets, won the Arab American Book Award's honorable mention and was finalist for the Eric Hoffer Award. Her book of criticism, Mundos Alternos y Artísticos en Vargas Llosa, examines the visual aspects of the Peruvian Nobel Prize winner narrative. A 17-time nominee for the Pushcart Prize and Best of the Net and recipient of the Nazim Hikmat Award, her multilingual work appears in numerous journals and anthologies. Hedy, you have a new collection coming up, right?
I hope so, but it's been with the publisher since last December, so I just have to keep my fingers crossed.
All right, and I'm sure it's going to come up soon. Hedy, it's a great honor having you with us, and we can't wait to hear your lovely poetry.
Thank you. I'll share screen then. Let me see. It seems to have worked. Okay. I just want to mention that I'm from Egypt and Lebanon, and grew up in Egypt, studied pharmacy in Lebanon, lived in Europe, Belgium, and came to the States 40 years ago, which amounts to many decades. But I think these few words might help understand the poems I'm going to read. So this poem is titled, Or How I Raised Havoc Between the Convent's Wrought Iron Gate. I studied pharmacy at the Jesuit University of Beirut, French University. The nuns lodged me in the disaffected pharmacist's pavilion that looked like a treehouse, accessed by a spiraled staircase. A short drive away from Beirut's sweltering humidity, the mountain's cool dryness enabled me to focus on my finals. I rose in the early hours of dawn to study before having breakfast with the congregation. Back to my desk, my struggle with double-bind formulas, medicinal interactions, defining the fine lines between an effective and toxic dose was soothed with trills, cicadas mating lament, echoing through pines. The day's only distraction was when a novice would appear holding a tray with fresh lemonade and cookies. After dinner, I tell stories to the young novices, so young they were dazzled by my own versions of half-forgotten fairy tales. I don't know how we started listening to music and ended up singing folk songs. Some took turns climbing the mulberry trees, offering me the bejeweled fruits, palms dripping with purple juice, staining their habit with laughter. The day I left, they accompanied me all the way to the main gate. I felt a pang in my chest I can still see their faces fading behind the wrought iron as I waved goodbye. The girl's eyes seemed to want to follow me, as though someone had snatched a book they hadn't had time to finish reading. And
It's fantastic and very, very different, actually. It's the first time I hear you reading a narrative poem like this. It's gorgeous.
Thank you. This will be part of
the new collection.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Actually,
these two poems were already published a few months ago. They're recent poems from a few months ago. Okay, the next poem is titled, What's in the Flame of a Candle? Close your eyes and stare inward, conjuring the voice of your first yoga teacher. Was it her soothing Danish accent that instilled peace in you? Or perhaps her reassurance that only outlining movements matter? The way brushstrokes lead you without expectations. With eyes closed, draw a candle out of the darkness. See its flame get brighter with the rising sun. See it redden the background against the dark horizon, delineated as in Rothko painting, and watch the setting sun shed blood over ocean waves. Keep staring at the flame's harmless, cool light wavering, stretching. Watch it as you'd watch the flicker of coals under caressing tongues of flames dancing inside the hearth. The way you did that night when, alone with your cat, you survived the power outage of in the midst of one of Michigan's worst ice storms. Let the eyes of your body recall the mountain bonfires lit in honor of the Virgin Mary's Assumption, the tall votive candles. Remember the Bunsen burner's blue flame that sterilized your grandmother's needles and syringe.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much, Hedy. That was brilliant. What a beautiful conversation with the self.
Thank you.
So thank you for sharing it with us. And next, Stefano. Many of you know Stefano, of course, from the many books that he has edited, and also especially for Psychosocial Wednesdays, which I see many of you attending as well. Stefano is with us today for the first time, sharing his poetry. And Stefano, it's a great honor having you with us today, and we can't wait to hear your poems. For those who don't know Stefano, he's an Italian psychoanalyst trained at the C.G. Jung Institute in Zurich, accredited analyst for CGJI, ZIAAP, and a sociologist postgraduate of the University of Cambridge. He works in private practice in Berlin in English, Italian, and Spanish. He is the initiator of the YouTube interview series Breakfast at Kuznacht, Lockdown Therapy, and War as Reset. He is among the initiators of Psychosocial Wednesdays, a digital salon featuring speakers from various psychoanalytic traditions, schools, and associated fields. He is among the initiators of #Therapist for Ukraine, an online free of charge psychological support to the Ukrainian population. For Chiron Publications, he curates the book series titled Jungian-influenced, Recovered Classics in Analytical Psychology, including Verena Kast's Father, Daughter, Mother, Son, Paula Young Eisendrath's Women's Desire, John Beebe's Psychiatric Treatment, Crisis Clinic and Consultation, Mary Watkins' Invisible Guests, etc. Since 2021, he is a member of the Analysis and Activism Steering Group. And it is with a huge welcome that I hand it over to you, Stefano.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rola. I will share my screen now, hopefully. Yes. My heart was frozen. You made it beat again. Then you faded and it froze again. I wish I could meet you again. I wish I could hear your story. I wish I could tell you mine. I wish we could make love and never part. I lost my mom when I was 13. Rehab didn't work. Twitter is easy. Life is not. I'm sad because I lost you. I'm sad because you're gone forever. And I'm here alone again. You're not who I thought you were. You are you, and you are made of my projections, which are not new, just so demonic and despotic. I think of you all day. I dream of you all night. Your silence is torture. To make sense of the void today is impossible. Become ashes, then rebirth. We are two lost souls in search for meaning. To wish impossible things is to fall in love with you, Lilith. My name is Lilith. I'm free and I do what I want. I never commit and rely only on myself only. And I kill children. I realize it is impossible to transform a demon if you're not a saint. Only a woman knows the antidote to Lilith. The void will never be filled. The wound will never be healed. How can we repair our despair? Before you ask, before I answered and turned you off. Before the acrimony, before our misunderstandings, before we parted. Lilith, Wotan's concubine, queen mother of total destruction, of death. Goodbye, Lilith. I truly hope one day we will meet again and talk one to the other authentically with respect and laugh and repair and dance, tango perhaps. Goodbye, Lilith. Goodbye. Lilith, queen of many peasants, I should have loved you instead of making war on you. I should have loved you like Odysseus did once. It is time to abandon the dry corn, to oat what really matters, to make room for the new maize to grow. It is time to leave a new myth. I know one day you will come to me when it is time to meet and become one, and I will not be there anymore. Oh, please do not continue a love affair with Lilith, for she kills children. Impossible to transform a demon if you're not a saint. Transformation is everything. Alchemy, saints and demons, transformation, the process. Please, I dare to implore you, do not become enamored with the demon as demon. My fantasies will fade, hopefully, my projection too. Fading may be the answer for now, but I'm sure she will return, and perhaps in another manner. Images don't disappear, and projection get integrated in the hard work of consciousness. My name is Odysseus, and I hate you. It is time to leave a new myth, the new man. Now I know what Lilith meant. Now I know why she came at night and seduced me before abandoning me and leaving me in despair. Now I know it is time to leave a new myth, to learn to fall in love with the patient swing of life. It is not enough to become conscious. We need a firm moral attitude to integrate and overcome our demons. To become a new being, from despair to ashes, to rebirth, to absolute freedom. Lilith taught me she's absolutely free. She has no mother nor father. She has God himself as ancestor. She's the great mother, the one. Lilith taught me she will come one day if she wishes so. She will become human and it will be sublime. Be strong, be courageous, Lilith, but I implore you, don't kill my children. Love is Deo concedente, otherwise it is not. Compensation, sublimation, projection, loneliness. When in love, we need no meaning, no knowledge. When there is no love, all we need is meaning, to know. Thank you.
Thank you, Stefano, for sharing this gorgeous piece of active imagination. We can actually see the conversation and the confrontation simultaneously taking place together. It's beautiful. And I love the image of Lilith and how it is brought up here. I don't know what it is with Lilith and psychoanalysts. I'm sure many of you watch Frasier. You know, Frasier's wife is called Lilith. Today we had a presentation at the LCIR as well that was talking about Lilith again. There's an exhibition, I think today's was the last day at the British Museum about Lilith and the perception of Lilith. So I don't know, she seems to be a very inspiring image, figure, being. But it's gorgeous. I really love the way that you brought it out, Stefano. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. And now maybe we need to open the floor for maybe 10 minutes, and we'll see one poem each. So if anybody here in the audience would like to share their poems and give it a shot at the open mic, now is the time. Not sure I can see yet, but if you click on the raise hand button, then your image might pop up here on the screen first. Mary. Hello, Mary.
Hi.
Hi. It's great to see you again, Mary.
Thank you. It's great to see you too and hear these wonderful poems and great talk today. I thought I would share, this is a poem from a collection that I did when I was in my 20s, so it's a little bit old, but I put a few poems in this book called, in a cluster called Animist Photos. So this is very Jungian in perspective. So these were, each poem is a sort of a snapshot of an animist projection. Anyway, this one's called Flautist. I love the night close with night blooming jasmine, close with the ocean smell that rolls up over the beach, the grass, the beach town streets. It supports me, surrounding like a black cloak with white eyelets, the street lamps. It rolls up to the laundromat, splashing on bored faces. Faintly, the sound of a tune grows. It weaves through the detergent. It carries the Renaissance and it swells. It stretches luxuriously like a cat, a spiraling waterfall, savoring each turn, each curl, each bend around note. Something in my rib cage rises and falls. Something between my lungs expands and contracts with the rhythm. I look up to see a felt hat, long blonde hair over eyes, and a silver flute. He walks down alleyways, music streaming behind him, a silk scarf. He walks slowly, like a minstrel. All is music. I am music, as he fades into street lamp. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm muted. Beautiful. I love the surreal nature of this poem. It's gorgeous. Thank you so much, Mary. And Mary, is it happy birthday for you today?
Not quite. No, another a little bit of time. Not
Okay.
too much.
All right. Because
Yeah.
I think I saw a Mary birthday today on Facebook, and I just thought it might be you. So
That's a different one. Sorry. Thanks for the thought, though.
well, thank you. Thank you for sharing with us. And next up we have Ray. Ray, it's good to see you again.
Oh, great to be here. If nobody else has their hand up, is it okay if I read too?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah,
I have
if
no-
nobody has their hand up, yep.
I have no screen to share, so I'll just be reading the poems. The first one is called The Remembrance of Ecstasy. Can you hear me okay? Okay.
Yes,
The rem-
perfect.
Okay, the remembrance of ecstasy. If you are thirsty for your God, you must transcend your own story. You must love beyond all success. You must become a child again. You fear you will be forgotten, but you will never disappear. For each soul seed must remember the blossom from which she was born. You thought it was your persona, desiring to be seen and known, but your yearning is just a gift from the source who longs for your love. You will only become well known when you gaze within all mirrors and for the first time again see the hidden face of the divine. And the second poem, I'm writing an essay on Robert Frost, so his formal style is influencing my writing, I'm afraid. Searching for something more. When I was just a child, I lived upon the shore. I went to sleep each night inside the ocean's roar. Light beyond the curtains would wake me from my sleep, and wind whispered secrets that I agreed to keep. I ran up to the beach before the sun would rise and walked along the shore as clouds bloomed in the skies. The waves were often angry. The seas were sometimes gray, and ships filled with destiny lay miles and miles away. I searched the high tide line for shards of lapis blue, for periwinkle shells, for something that was true. I sometimes found a trace, a luminescent glow from something far beyond the sheen from all I knew. Older now and inland, I still wake near that shore where breezes hold the gulls above this ageless roar. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you so much. And yeah, you're right. We could sense the influence of Robert Frost in the second poem, which is pretty nice, actually, added to your own voice and your own poetic style. Thank you, Ray. This was really, really lovely. So I guess one more, if there's one more person who would like to read a poem, we still have time for one more. I don't see any hands up.
I have one more, I guess, that I
Carole,
had prepared.
yes. Okay, yes, please.
Well, the image of the seed comes up, so I might as well. It's an older poem from my MFA time, and it seemed to fit with the other poems, so I included it. It's interesting returning to old poems and then finding similar themes and images. And anyway, so this one's very imagistic and kind of opaque in a way, but I hope the sense of it comes through. It's called Native Astronomy. A gypsy wagon falters, then rights itself. Pollen-scented hills, ancient, echo somber songs of the moon, lost. Pythias shrieks, stumbling into the vapor-emitting pit under that sky of cruel blue. Dazed laughter flares, fast breath, some dust. Cassandra lies asleep, then awakens to the sound of snakes, licking her skin. Laurel burns. The bird is weightless. Drink from the gossip's cup. Lie by the lake, be kissed. Glass beads come unstrung. Bite the seed. So I've been trying to unpack that one for myself lately, and I just felt I needed to give it some air. So thank you.
Thank you for sharing this with us. This is beautiful. Thank you so much, Carole.
Thank you.
I want to thank everybody who came to this session today. It's always a beautiful energy when we're all here with each other, and when we exchange these ideas and listen. Yes, Carole?
Oh, could you read a poem too? I'm sorry, I didn't have my mic off, and I saw someone else ask. We would love to hear you read. I know.
Okay,
Oh,
I'll read something. Yeah, I'll read something short. I just wanted to thank everybody first. Claude, Carole, Stefano, Hedy, Byron, Ray, Mary. Did I miss anyone? I hope not, but if I did, please forgive me. I want to thank everybody who has been here with us today or tonight or this afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from. I really look forward to seeing you more often during the our new season of Psychreative sessions. The date for the next one is right now, so far, it is on the 29th of October, but it still hasn't been 100% confirmed yet. But once it's confirmed, we will announce it on the Psychreative page on Facebook and also on the Indelible website, indeliblelit.com. The call for submissions, the submissions window is still open for Indelible. The theme for the forthcoming issue is science and sensibility. So if you have any articles, photographs, or poems, or anything, any artistic response to science, then please share it with us. Send it over to me at editor@indeliblelit.com. So you'll find all the information there on the website in the submissions tab. With this, I wouldn't really like to end the session, but we will have to end the session for tonight. There's a really short poem that I would like to share with you, a poem that I've read recently this week, also at the same poetry reading for the LCIR that Claude was reading at, and Mary was attending as well. So this poem is called The Wait, and it is a surreal poem because it is based on a few dream images that I kind of stitched together. It's a funny poem because of the circumstances that it came in. I was waiting for my to hear back from the UK visa body, whatever, to see if I got the visa or not. It's called The Wait. So it came out of my, not frustration, but, kind of impatience and wanting to know whether we were moving or not. So here it is, The Wait. The hanged man in the tarot told me to wait while I stuffed jellyfish with onions that stung it back. I left hairbrushes in alley windows, brought a broken, sky-colored phone back home. A blue bear walked into the garden, shook off the shamrock fur. I weaved it into silk, from which I cut out a house. And I got the visa on that same day, right after the poem. So it came out in the right moment. So thank you everyone again, and I hope you enjoyed this marvelous session, and see you all very, very soon. So have a good night, good day, good evening. Bye-bye.